K-cup.
Good morning, Asphalt Nation. Welcome to the morning hot mix with Tim and Chip. How you
All
doing this
right.
morning?
Good morning, everybody.
How you doing, Chip?
Fantastic. How are you today, Tim?
Good. Getting some morning coffee in, getting that go-go juice.
The Go Juice, the K-cup.
Yes. So today we're going to talk about scheduling and the weather. I
The
think they're
biggest nemesis to scheduling is the weather.
correct. So tell us some things you do to prepare for the week ahead when it comes to checking the weather out, working that schedule in. What are some good?
So we do a lot of forecasting. We take advantage of several different weather apps. We know the weather in our area. Um, Believe it or not, red sky in the morning, sailors take warning around here in Florida. It's not a myth, it's real. And if we're doing small things, we take plastic with us for a little concrete repair and things of that nature. Plastic seems to keep the rain away. If you have an abundance of plastic, there won't be rain. If you need plastic, it's going to rain. So we do the things ahead of time to prepare. We put the fast dry additives in our sealer. We mix the sealer properly so you're not overloaded on water, so there's not more water to evaporate. Obviously, we check the weather a week ahead. We make our schedule. We check the weather, by the hour and sometimes even by the minute. We Even if we know we have bad weather coming, we always arrive. It may be a skeleton crew. If we know we have bad weather coming, we still show, unless it just absolutely doesn't make sense from a mobilization standpoint. So if we know we have an issue in the afternoon, we still show up, we still clean, we still get everything prepped as if we're going to do the work. As I said, disclaimer here is unless it doesn't make sense for your mobilization. A lot of times the weather will shift in the middle of the day, as we all well know. Weatherman is the best paid guy to be wrong. Wish we could do that. Doesn't work that way.
No.
But so when it comes to a scheduling standpoint, some places don't matter. If you're in an apartment complex, however, and you're setting out a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday schedule, we've learned that if we maintain our schedule from Monday to Friday, if we have rain on Tuesday and we know we're not going to be able to do anything, we don't try to slide Tuesday back onto Wednesday. We take Tuesday and we stack it at the tail end of the job. So you still maintain your flow all the way through. And you have that conversation with property management before you actually set up the schedule. A lot of times you can work it where if you miss your Tuesday and you're on your Wednesday, maybe you can do part of Tuesday on your Wednesday or on your Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And stay caught up. But the main thing to do with the weather is keep your clients informed. It's that learning curve. People think that if sun comes out for 2 hours, where are you? Or why didn't you do it? You had 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So you just have to do some education with your clientele. Keep on your weather apps. There's also a really cool app called the DAF scale. And that will give you a bar graph that tells you whether or not your conditions are ideal for seal coating and striping or less than ideal, or don't do it.
Yeah.
I found this to be a very useful tool, and highly recommend digging up the DAF scale on your apps and install it. And
yeah, I use that as well. The nice thing with that is it goes over the temperature, humidity, cloud cover, wind speed, and it's really cool. And then it brings it up 48 hours. I just pulled it up on
right.
my phone to look at it, and to just go down right through it, the it says, yeah, apply with caution right now. I mean,
Yeah,
it's here, it's a lot in my area right now, it's cloudy. Sun's going to break out later, but it shows those, and it doesn't red, yellow, and green. It's really cool. And I think you're the one that showed that to me a couple years ago.
yeah,
And
yeah. I love it.
and you actually know the guy that made that, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Greg Driscoll,
Yeah.
awesome, awesome guy. He
Yes.
does a lot with paint and thermoplastic and retro reflectivity. Uh, he has got a lot of innovative devices in traffic control devices and warning devices within our industry. Really cool guy.
Yeah. I'm going to give the listeners the website. It's DAF Scale. So it's DAFSCALE.com. I'm also going to drop it in the link or in the comments after the video today.
Yeah. Yeah, you can never look at the weather too much. At least in Florida, sometimes we have a 20% chance of rain and you're feeling really good about the day. And you end up with pop-up showers and it just
Yeah.
clobbers you. Obviously when you know you have a window, you need to be working towards the window, whether that means it's an on-site at 5 o'clock day or it's a drag your feet and get there after the rain. But there's always something you can do on site to kind of get yourself prepared. But if you're just in for a day's worth of rain, you just have to figure out what your next best step is on your project.
On touching back on the DAF scale, I found that more accurate than the Weather Channel and local weather.
Yeah,
And that's my go-to. I mean, that's what I use all the time. I don't even look at the regular weather.
yeah. I think it's got an integrated radar as well with it.
Yeah.
So that helps a lot. I like it.
Yeah, it's a good program. I know a lot of people in the industry do use it. I know we pushed it for the past couple of years out to people we know. So,
Yep, good stuff there.
now what do you do like when you get a pop-up shower? Say you're seal coating and you just started sealing, and it was like a 20% chance, and then all of a sudden it just rains. Because I mean, we got a lot of guys out there that have not experienced it yet.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna have to. So what do you guys do when that happens?
So our damage control is torches, blowers, um, being aware. Being aware is the biggest one. Um, it isn't one of those things where you want to keep sealing once you feel a couple of drops that are a surprise. You want to shut down right then. Um, you want to sandbag any drain areas where you might have spill off. Um, you want to get your blowers going, especially in sunny areas where the blowers will make a big difference. Um, torches will discolor the sealer, but they will also help dry it. Basically, if you get rained on with a bunch of sealer out, you're just working damage control. You need to check your sidewalks and your curb lines almost immediately and get to rinsing or pressure washing almost immediately.
And then
The
with
best,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
just going to say the best thing to do with sealer is not seal in bad conditions. It's a very hard call. I mean, it is a very hard call. You got people dependent on you to finish a project. You have, the pressures of business and making sure you're turning the dollars for the day, but you have to put all that aside. When you're feeling that pressure and you know better, you should probably remember you're wasting material. You are wasting your efforts. You're perhaps causing environmental issue. Best thing to do if you're facing a situation, as soon as you know that you're in a gray area, you really just need to stop and wait. The weather will pass.
Yeah. Yeah. We traditionally anything over 35 to 40%, we don't seal that day. We
Yeah.
find other, we have other jobs lined up that we can switch around. And just because I don't want to chance it. And the last thing I want to do is get sealer on somebody's building, whether it be a house or a commercial building or anything. And you get that rain hitting, it's just going to splatter. So I've always been cautious. I've been criticized by people in the industry for being too cautious, but I've, knock on wood, I've never gotten sealer any place but on asphalt. So
I, however, have not.
I'm sure it happens. It's just, but am I losing money sometimes by doing it? Probably, but I
Oh,
don't have that.
absolutely. But when
Yeah.
you think about the cleanup factor involved and
Yeah.
how long it takes, and really with the sealer, a lot of times you can't do 100% cleanup. You've created some permanence to some of the staining and whatnot. You end up having to do some painting, and we painted a couple garage doors before. We've done a lot of pressure washing.
Mhm.
Um, it's a nightmare. Um, the main thing is to not let the sealer get outside of your work area. You need to dam it off or dike it off where you can get to a place where you can clean it up with a shovel, because some of the different sealers have such a fine um, clay silt in them that
Mhm.
they'll clog fish gills. It can be.
Especially in your market with being so close to the water. I
Yeah.
mean, it can be devastating
Yes.
and costly. I mean,
Yeah.
if it gets into the water, DEP gets involved. It's just, yeah,
Yep.
your insurance is definitely going to be tested.
Nothing better than to see the little EPA car show up with this little green sticker on the side, and it's usually something like a Prius or a Ford Focus with somebody in there who's not going to be very
Friendly.
understanding of your situation.
Exactly.
So
The-
yeah, I say caution, caution, caution. I mean, because of our workload, I mean, you have to roll the dice some days, but if you do it cautiously and you've got a plan ahead of time, if you know where your hot points are, um, if you know, and you should know these things, you should survey before you do any kind of project. Where is the water runoff going to
Yep.
go? Is it going to affect an estuary? Is it going into a public storm system? You do not want the product to get off the property. Tar paper in bags, sandbags. You throw a piece of tar paper over the top of a storm inlet and put sandbags all around it. That'll that'll stop most of the sealer from going down. Then you just have to wait on the sunshine to dry the water up. And around here, it happens pretty fast.
Yeah. And another thing, if you have a rain day, it's not the end of the world. I mean, yeah, you're not having money come in, but that gives you a
Mhm.
great opportunity to get your guys in the shop, to do some
Yeah,
maintenance on the equipment, gives you time to go over your books, look at different things, and it's an opportunity to train new employees while
that's right.
while they're in the shop. I mean, just going
Mhm.
over the SOPs and stuff. So rain days are not always a bad thing, especially when you're in the midst of the season and you're busy. I mean, you've been sealing for the last 7, 8 days in a row. The crews are, and it gives you that opportunity to be able to train those guys and get them
Yeah.
up to speed. And anytime
So,
you have any hiccups, like say you see something that it's like, all right, this got to change. It gives you that opportunity because you have a break in the monotony.
right. Sometimes it's a sign from above to slow down for a moment.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
like you said, there are a lot of benefits to having a rain day where you spend half a day just tidying up the toolboxes
Yeah.
and going over why you don't put this tool in that spot, and take pictures of where everything goes and post them on the wall. Do some of those little extra things. Actually take everybody out for breakfast or lunch. Do some team building. Um, Invite your client along. You know,
Yeah.
th- there's there are no wasted days if you can find a way to change up your program for the day, to change your curriculum, and to keep on running.
Exactly. The as far as scheduling, how far out do you recommend scheduling? And then now let's take us towards like residential, because we have a lot of viewers on here that are strictly doing residential that are not in that commercial stage yet, or they're doing like
Mhm.
one or two big commercial jobs a year and they're doing a lot of residential. How do you recommend they do residential scheduling? I mean,
So if you have a historically wet time or historically cool time that you really shouldn't be sealing, then I would try to schedule away from those blocks. And then, weather is, it's like a 50-50 or a 70-30 that you're going to have weather. So I still think you schedule on your calendar as tight as you can. And then as you get closer to the job, within a week of the job, you have to fine tune your schedule. You let everybody know that this is absolutely weather conditions dependent. And it's better to have somebody on a schedule that they know a date, a date, and then you can work around that. You can either, back up or pull forward on their time slot, depending on what's going on. A lot of times you have a good section where you don't have any problems, and all of a sudden you find yourself caught up 2 days ahead, and you just try to keep getting ahead during that time. I know our good friend Chris Bishop, he actually schedules rain days in. Every so many days he puts in 2 days of rain, not meaning that through this 9-day period he says, well, we're going to have rain on Tuesday and Thursday. He says we're going to have 2 days of rain at some point in this schedule. So he leaves little pieces open, if I understand the way that he was explaining to me. And I can see where that's a big benefit, especially on a commercial job.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't be afraid to schedule out. I think you need to have those targets on your calendar. Actually, I'm a lot more focused on my calendar when I have 2 or 3 bullet points that are already, what we call set in stone or written in pen, not penciled in. So that helps me a lot, is to schedule out. You're going to have it. Again, it's education. Customers sometimes don't understand that this is, basically a water-based product, and you need some time before you put it down, and you need some time after you put it down. Some products have a better window than others. You just need to know your product, do your research and your due diligence, find out what ideal drying conditions are and how fast it will dry under ideal circumstances.
Yeah.
A lot of the manufacturers really have some guidelines that are very helpful. A lot of them are pretty optimistic about the way that the weather actually works. So, you'll have to definitely spend some time in your research, shooting for 100% compliance, knowing that you're living in the real world.
Exactly. All right. Yeah, so guys, like and subscribe. Keep sharing with us, sharing us out to people. I do want to thank our sponsors. We have 2 sponsors for today's. We have Lost Supply, and that's at lostsupply.com, and also a new sponsor, Stencil Plus. So check out Stencil Plus, and Jeff does a great job down there. So share the love with him as well. And until next week, we'll see you guys then. Again, like and share. We appreciate the following. Hey, Chip, you have a safe and blessed day.
You do the same, Tim.
All right. And you
It's
guys,
good to be
listening,
back. We've been on
yes,
that roll here for a minute.
yes, we've been doing some traveling together and getting some things working. But yeah, so the viewers, be safe, have a blessed day, and we'll see you next week. Thanks again.